Hey guys, Destler Magic here, and I finally built my Flood deck. This is very similar to what I've been playing on Arena, and it's been winning. I haven't been playing it much. I've got 3 better decks that I like better that win more, but this one was fun too. It's just so simple to throw it together, and you already have a lot of these cards with the starter decks and stuff, so if you're going to play Arena, build this. Or my mono white deck. That thing's insane. Honestly, my mono blue, my mono green aren't bad either. I've been winning a lot on Arena. So let's just start off with the mana base. Well, I will say this is a flood deck. You want to get out as many creatures as possible and then win with it. Not just overswing, win due to the number that are there. So Sunpetal, single check land, amazing, love it. Modern grade, honestly. Then we got Shefet. It does tap for colorless, but does not come in tapped. But then if you pay 1 life, you can tap for 1 white. So there you go. There's only 2 because, you know, this is a 2-color deck, and it's double white to activate this. But, you know, late game, you got 7 creatures out. Boom, you just added 7 attack power. I mean, it's not negligible. I've won games because of this. Next up, Memorial to Glory. So it enters tapped. I don't like that, but it taps for white. I do like that. And then if you pay 4 and sack it, that's basically, well, it costs 5 because you have to tap this. You know, you always want to consider that, by the way. You create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. So there you go. I mean, a land that turns into a spell later when you don't need that many lands. It's absolutely wonderful. I love it. Then we got Scattered Groves. I mean, they're cycling, so like turn 15, cool. You don't need them. Toss them, get something better. But other than that, very unnecessary for the deck, honestly. It's just, you need a bit of fixing for this, so whatever. Threw them in. They're not very expensive, by the way. Then we got 4 forests, 5 plains, just because, I mean, there's not that much green in here, but I don't know, that just seemed like the ratio to me. I didn't do a whole lot of math in this. It's not a very tight deck, and that's the thing. If you want to swap out cards in here, feel free. If you're like, no, I need a little bit more control, go for it. You're probably right, honestly. Like, if you know what you're playing against at your local gaming store, then yes, you're probably correct about changing this. Also, I had to trim this down from like 107 cards, and I hate the state of it now, but it works. It's just there's almost not 4 of anything, which is very aggravating, but it does work, and having 1-ofs is hilarious because your opponent never knows what to expect, and you'll play differently every game, sort of. I mean, you're going to flood every game, but they won't know why. So first up, we got Dauntless. This is just straight up Bodyguard for like Angel, Ariel, Adorned in his Eternalized form, you know, just whatever. Like, it's not that important to the deck. You could honestly dump it, but 2 1-for-1 on turn 1, that's huge. And that Bodyguard ability is huge. So then we got Oviya, God, I always say that wrong. Oviya, I believe it would be. Pashiri, Sage Lifecrafter. Very underappreciated card right now. I absolutely love her. If you're running the Black Blade, throw her in if she's on color. This deck isn't, though. She's a 1-2-for-1, which is already pretty decent. I mean, it's not nothing. She can't get taken out by that stupid little goblin thing. But if you pay 3, you can tap and create a servo, so that's cool. You know, adds to the number there. And then if you pay 5, which this is very reasonable in this deck, create an XX colorless construct artifact creature token where X is the number of creatures you control. It is not dynamic. It has to be phrased completely differently for its power and toughness to change over time based on the number. It's how much is it right now when I'm activating it? Or I should say when it resolves, not when you're activating it, because if they kill 2 of your creatures, then it would be less. But at the time of resolution, if you have 4 creatures in play on your side, boom, it's a 4/4, and it's a 4/4 forever. So if you can't swing because they're running, you know, sapperlings or whatever, boom, now you've got a giant robot, and you probably can swing next turn. Absolutely love it. It's just a pain tracking these because you'd almost have to get like 10 of the tokens, make 1/1, 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, because otherwise it looks like it has counters on it, and that's like a whole thing. You'll forget, they'll forget, everybody's breaking the rules. So that's the only downside with this. Otherwise, I only put in 1 because, you know, there's not that many sources of green. It's mostly a white deck and just other reasons. It's a backup win condition for absolute flood. So we've got Adorned just because it wouldn't be flood if you can't bring your creatures back. I actually have the little 1/1 lifelinker cat that comes back for 1 in my Arena deck. But yeah, double striker. I mean, that's cool because it has first strike. So if they swing with a 3/1, it's dead. This will stop certain red decks. Feel free to put in more. I think I'm running 2 or 3 of these, maybe even 4. In another version of my deck. So it has Eternalized 5, which is very reasonable, and it comes out as a 4/4 double striker. So that is like a threat. A lot of the threats are either flying or trample in this deck, but this one's just good on the ground. I just love that people know they have to kill it because you're going to boost it, you're going to put counters on it, it's going to get bigger. Then when they finally kill it, you just bring it back. I mean, and by the time you bring it back, they probably forgot about it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. You can even suicide block a 2, too. I mean, it's just... Adorned Pouncer is so good. People do appreciate that card. It's worth quite a bit of money now. Now we got Bishop Soldier. It's just a 2/2 lifelinker for 2. This is just... People do damage. Red Rush is a thing. Red Semi-Burn is a thing. Decks that are faster than you are a thing. Black-White Vampire is going to remove all your crap while also gaining life, so you want to keep up with them. That's just simply why this is here. And Mesa Unicorn. They are... basically the same card. I just put them in there so that people get confused and think I'm running 4 of these. And it's basically what it is. If you want, put in 3 bishops. It really doesn't matter. 3 unicorns. I don't think they're going to bother to name jam it. Then we got Compulsory Rest, only 2 of these. I mean, what level of control to put in this deck is very difficult, but the answer is definitely some. It's not none, okay? Because if they have like an 8/8 and you've got a couple, you know, lines of 2/2s, 3/3s, you probably aren't going to be able to swing. Maybe. So you want to take something that's just so detrimental and deadly to combat and just boom, it's gone. So 4/2, only one of which is white. It can't attack or block. I mean, there are more expensive versions of this that are a little bit less flexible. Or I should say they're a little bit better because this one lets them pay 2, sack this creature and gain 2 life. 100% of the time your opponent will forget that it has that ability. I guarantee it. So next up we got Glorybound Initiate. This isn't really a trampler, but it's like they almost have to let it through or they're going to lose something because when you exert it, it's a 4/4 minimum. And if you have boosters out, it's bigger. There's just so much fun you can have with this. Next up, Mesa Unicorn. Oh, wait, I already mentioned that one. You know what? And I made a slight flaw in building this, but now I don't know what to take out to re-add it. Oh, well. It was supposed to be the Triumph of Gerard or whatever. He's more in the mono-white version of this that's less floody. Like, it floods for the sake of flooding, but it doesn't actually use the number of creatures on the battlefield in any mechanic. It's just like white coming at you. I mean, it's just a typical Blizzard deck if you've seen my other 2 Blizzard decks. So, I mean, you could put in Triumph if you really wanted because it's so funny on Mesa, it's funny on Bishop, it's hilarious on Adorned, it's funny on Glorybound. I mean, Servos, it's moderately comical. Shanna, it'll keep her alive. I mean, it's good, it's just... It itself doesn't count as a creature, so it didn't quite make the cut, but it is technically supposed to be in here. So, like I said, this is a real loose deck list. If you want to put it in, put it in. Then we got 3 Oath of Ajanis. Honestly, it should be 4 because Legendary means nothing. It's just, I had to get this to 60. You guys would not respect me if I left this at like 68. I wouldn't respect me if I did that. So it's just 2 drop, but you're going to drop it as late as possible. So that's just, okay, cool. You can maybe drop in a creature, then this late game. Every single creature instantly gets a 1/1 counter on it, permanently. So it's not just passive boost and then, oh, they got rid of it. No, this is... It doesn't matter if they blow this up or not. If they do, they're wasting a spell, honestly. Because guess what? Planeswalker spells you cast cost 1 less. It comes up. There's 3 of them. You know, it is what it is. I just got it for the counter. And then if you drop another one in, Legendary Rule, ditch the old one. Who cares? They don't stack anyway. Well, they would, but boom, another counter. So this is huge. Absolutely huge. Then we got Servo Exhibition. It's 2 creatures for 2 mana. No big surprise there. We got 3 of them. Wish there was 4. Then we got Shanna. She's really what the deck was built around. She can't be the target of abilities your opponents control. Do not forget that. I forget that all the time. I always think, oh, they're going to destroy her. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. No, not unless they have a spell. I mean, she can't be exiled by Ajani. You got to remember that. And then she gets +1/+1 for each creature you controlled, including herself. Yes, she does count herself. Why would she not? It doesn't say other. I mean, that's literally how like every spell is written. I've gotten that question so often. Oh my god. So yeah, there's 4 of her. Yeah, she's legendary, whatever. But she is a lightning rod. They are going to blow her up because just there's stuff on the field. Oh, look, an 8/8. I mean, it's just nothing else. It's not, oh, counters build up over time, oh, passive field boost. No, it's just, hi, I'm Shanna. I'm going to kill you. So, yeah, an 8/8 for 2, pretty good. Right up there with Galta, which is a 12/12 trampler for 2. That's not quite true. So, I do like Shanna. She's pretty cool. Having 4 of her, I mean, even if I had like 2 in hand, I'd be like, good, I've got a replacement one. It's not like, oh, no, I'm down a card, legendary, wah. No, trust me, it don't work that way. Then we got Appeal. 2 authority, I guess it would be. Until end of turn, target creature gains trample, that's huge, and +X, where X is the number of creatures you control. That is a fun combination. You can just win with that. In fact, if you cast that on one creature and it's like +6, you can usually swing all out, and then they're like, oh, I want to throw 3 creatures in front of the trampler, but yeah, no, I'd have to let even more creatures through. Crap. And then Authority. Oh my god. Tap up to 2 target creatures your opponents control. Creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn. So 2 of their best creatures are not blocking. And remember, to cast all of this at once, it's sort of like in sequence, I should say, 3 mana. I mean, this is devastating. I wanted to put more in. It's just Huatli's a better version of it. But if you want to run 3 of them, go for it. It's just, technically this spell isn't a creature. So, you know, take that for what it is. I like to target, by the way, Aerial Responder with this. So, Flying Vigilance, Lifelink. I mean, this is in every deck that I build that's white. It's really that simple. I mean, you boost him, cool, you get more lifelink. He has a huge amount of toughness. If they blow him up, great, who cares? I don't like that he costs Serene. He's only 1 creature in this deck, but if this was just Token Swarm, it would be stupid. He survives a couple red spells like Shock. I mean, he's just good. And, you know, you need lifelink in the air to keep yourself alive. So I got 3 of them. Would I cut one to put another appeal? Maybe. I mean, maybe. That was the one that I was stuck on. But then we got Fairgrounds Warden, and that's another one where you could cut one to put another appeal, because I really want 3 appeals in there. They're game ending by themselves. And people tend to forget that it's in the graveyard too, by the way. So you can wait 3 turns and then, oh, you left 2 blockers? Now you didn't. Whoops. So it's quite simple. Enters the battlefield, exile a creature. There you go. If it's a token, it's gone forever there and getting it back. Now, if they destroy Fairgrounds Warden, wonderful. Kind of think they wasted a mana, but I've seen people do it. Her and Shanna are the biggest lightning rods there are, or him, honestly. I don't know. That's not even going to get into that artwork. But yeah, it's a 1/3. Can't be destroyed by Shock, can't be destroyed by 1 sweepers. It's not terrible. Even with Soul Scar, it's pretty hard to destroy this thing. So this is removal, but it's also a creature. So if you boost this up to 3 attack, I mean, it's already 5 toughness then, usually in that case. It's good. You can actually use it in combat somewhat safely. Otherwise, it's a fairly safe lightning rod. I mean, if they want their stupid little 2-cost creature back, then they can have it. But then again, I always get burned by this. ETB will go off again. That's enter the battlefield. So if you drop in there, I don't know, something with a high ETB, I can't think what it would be. Honestly, I've had people Fairgrounds Warden my Fairgrounds Warden, so that's always fun. They will get the ETB on when their creature enters the battlefield again, so keep that in mind. Then we got Marwyn. She's just in here for mana ramp. I did have Channeler Initiate in here just to like keep things consistent because it only has 22 lands. And, you know, it's a creature and it becomes a 3/4. So if you can find a place to put Channeler Initiate in here, more power to you. I couldn't, so I cut him. But Marwyn, she can tap for multiple because this whole deck will boost. I mean, there's quite a reasonable amount of boost in here. I did take out the triple white Banalish because he's triple white. He was in the original version of the deck. But, like, we got Rishkar. So, I mean, she could get boosted, could get counters on her. It's not unreasonable. And then Appeal, you could, you know, if you had that many cards left, just put it on her and then boom, cast everything. So she's just good. She has a 1/1 for 3. I'm thinking about cutting her. I might just put Appeal in there and say screw mana, and you know, just hopefully the land draws will be nice to me. I don't know. But I mean, I think there's a couple elves in here, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember what I cut at this point. Maybe there's not. But we do have Rishkar, which is an elf, by the way. He's pretty damn nice because when he enters the battlefield, you put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, almost always himself, and then any creature with a counter can tap for mana. Not just counters dropped by him, just a counter at all, which you might remember, Oath of Ajani. So that's kind of fun. You don't really need, like, you know, 12 mana in this deck, though. That's the thing, unless you want to drop in, like, a Huatli and Ajani on the same turn. Ooh. I wouldn't. I would just Flood Swing. Then Oketra's very important. I mean, it's legendary, and if you pull 2, you've got a dead card, so I only put in 3. Plus, remember, it's not a creature. You really got to keep those creature numbers up. But white creatures go down by 1 in cost. Huge. I mean, Aerial Responder for 2, and then you just start spamming creatures. Fairgrounds Warden for 2. Ooh, and then every single time you cast a creature spell, whether it was countered or not, which is huge, create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with Vigilance. And Vigilance is important if you're going to boost it and swing with a 3/3, but then still be able to block with it. So, oh boy, I think I've given this title to 4 cards so far, but best card in the deck. Then we got Cast Out. This is just, okay, they got a Planeswalker, they got something, they got Removal, they've got a Fairgrounds Warden, they've got an Enchantment, a Saga, whatever, and then, oh, you've only got 2 lands, and you went for 2 card draws, maybe 3, it's turn 3, oh crap, you need your 3rd land, just cycle Cast Out for 1. I mean, it sucks to lose removal, but it also sucks to lose the game because you can't get anything out that costs above 3, or above 2, I should say, that costs 3, and this whole line of stuff is really important, so I like Cast Out. I mean, I think I'm running 4 copies of it in my other white deck, so, obviously it's like a $4 card. It's really good. Then we get into the tasty stuff. Huatli, or however the hell you say it, Radiant Champion. Ooh, I think this card's like $7 to $8, brings up the deck. But this deck, I didn't add it up. It feels like about a $40, $50 deck, so it's pretty reasonable. You might be able to get a 30, and a lot of these cards are just absolute antiques. So a lot of Kaladesh in here. You probably got it in your trade binder, and somebody else probably wants to get rid of it because, oh no, we have 100 days before everything cycles out. What will you ever do? It's 100 days. Get over it. So she comes out with 3 loyalty for 4, very reasonable. And then her +1 is insane. Put a loyalty counter on her for each creature you control. What? Her and like Appeal and Oath and Shanna were why I built this deck. I mean, that's a lot of reasons if you think about it. So, oh, that's insane. I mean, she is going absolutely nowhere after you drop her in. If they don't, counter her with a counter spell, oh boy, buckle up. So her -1 is also, and you can activate this 3 times in a row. I mean, this could be lethal. Target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Simple. I mean, honestly, I would have made this a -2, but I'm not complaining. It wins games. Then her -8, which you could pretty much do second turn 100% of the time if your deck's working and they haven't wiped the board. If they have to wipe the board, don't put this out. You get an emblem with whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Ooh, that is, boy, a little bit better than even Vizier. I mean, it's pretty damn good. Then we got Angel. I mean, yeah, it's a 5 cost, but it's Flying, Vigilance, Lifelink, and you got options. It's 4 Lifelink in the air with Vigilance. It's got Fabricate, so you can either put 2 1/1 counters on it or create 2 servos. Now, if you put the 1/1 counters on it, it's in the air, it's huge, and it's lifelink. Cool. If you create the servos, they come out as 2/2s. Remember that, because she boosts all other creatures by 1/1 as long as she's in play. Crazy. I think I'm running like 3 of these in my mono white deck, which, in my opinion, is a better deck. It's just, if you like flooding and nobody's playing board wipes, this'll do it. And this just absolutely torches Red Rush. I mean, if they go first and they have a perfect draw, you're going to need some control, but this and my other deck were built to shut down Red Rush. So anyway, yeah, you could add 2 in the air, 2, and then 2/2 on the ground, so 6 total damage output for 5 mana when you play her. And that's if you don't have any other boost, maybe you have an Oath in hand, I mean, whatever. So, yikes, I really like her. She is pretty damn good. And also, if you really wanted, you could flicker her the hard way with Fairgrounds Warden and then like blow it up or get it killed or something. That's like a desperate attempt at doing something weird. I've done it though, and I've won games because of it. So, ETB, it's just straight up when this creature enters the battlefield, not when it's cast. That's a very important distinction. So next up, we've got Ajani. I absolutely love him. He's removal on a stick. He is 4 loyalty for 6, but there's a damn good reason for that. Well, 1 is because he costs less because of Oath. But anyway, reveal the top 3 cards for +2 of your library. Put all non-land permanent cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So you can't pull an Appeal with this. I think that's it. Cast Out is technically a permanent. Oath is a permanent. Oh, Servo. Okay, so there's like 5 cards you wouldn't want to hit with this. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, I mean, that's card draw. Cool. You need card draw when you're at 6 mana. Trust me, you're running out of cards. -2, though, exile target creature. Straight up. Don't destroy it. Nothing. I've hit Scarab God with this. I've had people just concede when they see this hit the battlefield. It's so bad. Oh, but it is bad. That's why they felt bad and said its controller gains life equal to its power. I've gotten rid of Agalta, gave him 12. Doesn't mean I'm not hitting him for 16 that turn, trust me. Then his -9 is insane. Put 5 1/1 counters on each creature you control and 5 loyalty counters on each other planeswalker. What? If you get to 9, great. And that's why he will take the heat off your life total. You drop him in and they're like, okay, we got to do something about this guy. And with so many blockers in this deck, can they even do something about this guy? And if your opponent's an idiot, they'll overswing. They'll just be like, I cannot have this guy out. He's already at 6 loyalty because he activated the +2, and they swing everything at him. And you're like, okay, don't block anything. And they just let like 9 creatures hit him. He's gone. Whoopsies, you've got a bunch of creatures left. You could usually swing for lethal, especially if you have a boost. So like I said, the numbers, the balance in here, not absolutely tweaked to ideal, but I'm running a just garbage unbalanced version of this on Arena, and I'm winning like 80-90% of my games. So can't really beat this. Even Fumigate, I mean, by the time they do it, they're coming back with 1-2 cards in hand, maybe. I mean, it's pretty late game, and then you can, get some stuff going. Servo, you might still have Oath on the field. You might still have some Planeswalkers. So bring out just an Angel and ta-da, 6 damage. I mean, you can come back from a board wipe pretty quick. That's why I like this deck. So overall, it's pretty fun, pretty cheap. Or I should say inexpensive to build, not cheap as in tactics. It's pretty straightforward as far as Magic goes, actually. But I think, honestly, I'm going to drop Morrowind for Appeal. It's just a little bit better. I mean, with Huatli and Appeal, I need a couple more boosty boosts. Oh, and Oviya. She's all those cards are the ones that take advantage of the number of creatures that are in play, and I feel like it just needs a little bit more. Ajani, you could maybe count. Angel, you could definitely count. So, okay, there's like 6-7 cards. We need one more. So I think the deck list that I put in the description will probably contain 1 more Appeal and 1 less Morrowind. Hell, let's do it right now. There we go. I gotta put it on. Oh, there we go. There we go. Perfect. Oh, yeah, maybe I should go over the sideboard. In case you want to try to intercept a board wipe, if it's a board wipe heavy deck, control heavy, heroic intervention, permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible for 2 at instant speed. I mean, there you go, obvious. Those cards are like, I don't know, $6-7 a piece or $10. They're expensive. I haven't even checked it lately. Honestly, it's probably not going to my sideboard unless I already have them in my trade binder. Then we got Prowling Serpapard, 4/3 for 3. So, I mean, there you go. And then it can't be countered. And creature spells you control can't be countered in case they're running some just blue-white control Essence Scatter Nightmare. Then we got Baird. If they're running a swarm deck, Saprolings, whatever, there you go. They got to pay 1 to attack you. And he's a 2/4 with Vigilance for 4, so he's not terrible by himself. Then we got Gideon's Intervention. XL, or not XL something. What does he do? Oh, you just choose a card name, it can't be cast, and it can't deal damage. All right, so if you want, you can watch some gameplay that I'm about to upload from this. I mean, you swarm and then you swing. I mean, it's like, you don't really need to see gameplay for this. This isn't one of those ones where I'm like, okay, it looks different that it plays. You got to see it. I mean, if you want to see the decision trees and what order to cast what, just, because I've played hundreds of games with this deck, go for it. Otherwise, pretty straightforward. Just build it and go crush everybody with it. And if you're really interested, leave a comment down below. I'll show you my mono white version, which is like Combat Specialist 3.0, basically, which 2.0 was my #1 most winning deck of all time. That's right. It won 1 more F&M than even the absolute legend Gravity Bomb. So anyway, this is just a cheap deck. It's a lot of fun. It's overwhelming, and it tends to beat some of the more obnoxious decks out there right now. I mean, this destroys vampires. It tends to beat Red Rush a good deal of the time. It can be fast enough to beat blue-white control, just not typically. I mean, when they sideboard in all their board wipes, you're in trouble. Dinosaurs it beats. The problem is vampires and dinosaurs, I tend to win more with my mono white version because it has more control. And like I said, I think my mono white deck that is like flood but not really is a little bit better deck than this. So do watch for that in the future. Like I said, if everybody's interested, want to see a very similar but more straightforward deck, I'll upload it, I guess. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next video.